on the free Odyssey app.
60 degrees. We're going up to 65. Overcast, rain, and drizzle today. More people get their news from 1010 Wins than from any other radio station in the nation. Shimon Siegel's our service aide. Eileen LaPalmer, Madison Pett of the writers. Chris Roush is the editor, and I'm Brian Britton.
All news, all the time. This is 1010 Wins at 92.3 FM, New York.
Good afternoon. It's 59 degrees at 12 noon. I'm Suzanne Colucci, and here's what's happening. A pair of NYPD officers are lucky to be alive after a horrendous collision on Coney Island Avenue in Brooklyn. One of the four men who escaped from an ICE detention center in Newark has now been caught. The death toll is rising as Israel and Iran fire missiles back and forth for a third straight day, as Israel warns the worst is yet to come. With the world on edge, President Trump is heading to Canada tonight for the start of the G7 summit. Well, happy Father's Day to all dads. Our Glenn Schuck found a musical way to celebrate. Sports, the Yankees are playing the Red Sox this afternoon. The Mets host the Rays. Wins News Time, 12:01. It's time for traffic and transit. Good afternoon, Andre Farrow.
Hey there. Let's go to Long Island, eastbound Southern State Parkway. We're still working on this crash. Here's what we see on Long Island's Big Three. Yeah, we see a crash and delays eastbound on the Southern State Parkway heading towards that Eagle Avenue area. You have delays that go back to Franklin Avenue and Valley Stream. You might want to hop on Sunrise Highway if that works for you, or maybe even Hempstead Turnpike. Now, if you're traveling on the westbound side of the Northern State Parkway, building up now right around New Hyde Park Road and Shelter Rock Road, the westbound LIE is going to be slow because you're approaching the Queens border, where you have that long-term road work slowing you down with the new sound barriers going up, and they're widening the road over by the Clearview. So that's what's been causing that extra delay, that long-term road work project. If you're traveling on the eastbound Grand Central Parkway in Queens, same deal, heading towards that area of Cunningham Park and approaching the Cross Island Parkway, you're going to be slow with the new traffic pattern there. Whitestone Bridge showing a lot of volume heading into Queens. If you're going to use the Throgsneck Queensbound, go with the southbound Clearview. Here's what you need to know about the bridges and tunnels. You're at least 25 to 30 minutes in at the George Washington Bridge. Outbound's going to be about the same with the Cross Bronx delays. Lincoln Tunnel over the Holland, you'll save a good amount of time, especially inbound, where you have a 25 to 30 minute delay at the inbound Holland because of the delays on the Pulaski and 139 eastbound through Jersey City. Next report, we'll do that at 12:11. This one was sponsored by River Spring Living. Andre Farrow, 1010 Wins on 92.3 FM.
Hey, it's Scott Shannon. Check out my True Oldies channel. Just download the free Odyssey app, search Scott Shannon, and lock it in.
Powered by River Spring Living, with a beautiful campus overlooking the Hudson River where older adults can live, learn, and flourish. For info, go to riverspringliving.org.
Two officers are in the hospital after a horrific crash in Brooklyn. The impact of this so severe, the cop car was smashed right up to the windshield.
All cars are totaled, but everyone's alive. Coney Island Avenue is a 5-mile strip that Pong says people just won't slow down on.
They try to get the camera there ready, but people don't care.
Lewis works overnights. He watched it all happen.
Both cars were in their respective lanes. The cop car tried to overcome that car going straight, and he tried to, but I'm guessing he was going so fast. The brakes don't kick in, obviously, 2-3 seconds after. They tried to slow down, but there was no slowing down in time. They were literally all at the perfect place at the perfect time to all get sandwiched together.
He says the Suburban that crashed into the cop car.
Whoever was in that car flew out like a fish jumping into water.
And the driver of that Suburban was arrested. Amanda Alexander, 1010 Wins on 92.3 FM on Coney Island Avenue.
One of the four men who escaped from a federal immigration detention center in Newark has been caught. Joel Enrique Sandoval Lopez was taken into custody Friday in Passaic. Federal authorities gave no further details about his arrest. They say Sandoval Lopez illegally entered the U.S. from Honduras as a minor in 2019. He'd been arrested in Passaic twice before, they say, for gun possession and for assault. He and three others busted out of the Delaney Hall ICE detention facility on Thursday after a violent uprising inside. Officials say about 50 detainees started a riot and broke down a wall, which allowed the men to bust free. A $10,000 reward is being offered for information leading to the arrests of the others. Early voting is underway. Yesterday was the first day. 30,000 New Yorkers went to the polls making their primary choices. The Board of Elections says that nearly doubles the amount from last year. Voters we caught up with know their picks for governor.
I think we have terrible people in office right now, and I'm really excited to get them out.
Not without some reservations, but for sure I'm be voting for Governor Cuomo.
Former Governor Andrew Cuomo leads with Queens Assembly member Zoran Mamdani in second. The race is centered around affordability, housing, public safety, and rising anti-Semitism. Early voting goes until June 22nd, and the primary is June 24th. It turns out a teenager was the victim of last week's deadly shooting on the Jersey Shore. Investigators say 18-year-old Christopher White of New Brunswick was gunned down at 9 o'clock Thursday night at Pier Village in Long Branch. So far, no arrests have been made. Investigators are asking anyone who may have been on the scene to come forward if they have firsthand video of what happened on their phones. Well, police are continuing to look for the man responsible for a pair of politically motivated shootings in Minnesota. Authorities believe Vance Luther Beller killed Democratic State Representative Melissa Hortman and her husband in their home. He's also believed to have shot State Senator John Hoffman and his wife just 5 miles away.
He was wearing a light-colored cowboy hat, dark long-sleeve shirt, light pants, and he was carrying a dark bag. Investigators say he changed his appearance after wearing a mask and posing as a police officer during the alleged shootings at the Hoffman and Hortman homes. Later Saturday, police searched the Fremont Avenue house that Belter rented part-time and had a roommate. His other known address was a rural home in Sibley County, southeast of the town of Green Isle.
And that was reporter John Larritzen. President Trump saying such awful targeted violence will not be tolerated, vowing the FBI is actively working to find the gunman. Well, taking a check of AccuWeather for this Father's Day. For the rest of the day, kind of cool out there for mid-June and damp. A little drizzle off and on throughout the day. We're looking at a high of 65. Right now, we've just broken through to 60. And then tonight, cloudy with drizzle continuing back down just a little bit to 59. The death toll is now rising as Israel and Iran trade missile fire for a third straight day. New waves of attacks are underway.
Iran's barrage of dozens of missiles and drones seen soaring over Jordan towards Israel.
Oh my God.
And flying over Jerusalem. With sirens blaring from the north down to Tel Aviv. Israel's air defense system, including the Iron Dome, intercepting some of the aerial assault, but several missiles evading the system, hitting their targets.
And that was correspondent Marcus Moore. President Trump took to Truth Social, weighing in on the Israel-Iran conflict.
Early Sunday morning, President Trump posted that the United States had, quote, nothing to do with Israel's attacks on Iran on Saturday, where they hit numerous Iranian oil and gas fields. President Trump also proposed negotiating some sort of deal between Iran and Israel as he called for an end to the conflict. Aaron Navarro, CBS News, Washington, D.C.